never know where I'm from.
Well,
you're right
for
me.
We never said.
Did you get the thing here?
Yes, ma'am.
So you know what's going on, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Well, good morning. Thank you all for being here this morning. It's a beautiful day, and think about this time next year. We'll all be sitting around the pool, so we're excited that you're here with us today to see our groundbreaking and join us with our groundbreaking ceremonies. My name is Barry Williams, and I'm the Parks and Recreation Director for Collier County, and we're honored with some distinguished guests in our audience. I want to identify Commissioner Bill McDaniel. Commissioner. We also have representatives from the Sheriff's Office. We appreciate that.
Jay Mulholland, Lieutenant.
Jay Mulholland, thank you, ma'am. We're very pleased to have the Lely High School drum line. Let's hear a round of applause for them. They did a tremendous job. Again, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you taking time to mark the date today, the date that we begin the process of this pool. And before we get started, what I wanted to do was invite Deacon Michael Christopher with the San Marco Catholic Church to come forward and lead us in an invocation. Deacon? Thanks, sir.
Good morning. Father Tim Navin, our pastor, has had some... You can sit down momentarily. It's okay. Father Tim Navin, our pastor at San Marco Catholic Church, has had some medical problems and is recuperating very well, and he asked me to take his place. I'll do my best. He has to be out of activities for at least a week to 10 days, and he'll be back in short order, I'm sure, knowing Father Tim. So I have a short invocation here with a reading. May God, the source and origin of all, from whom every good thing comes to us, be with all of you. God has given us our physical powers in order that we may serve Him joyously, help one another, and by discipline in accord with the law of God, make our body fit for every good work. God therefore approves of recreation for relaxation of the mind and the exercise of the body. Care of our bodies fosters mental well-being, and we more readily establish friendly and affable relations with other people. And a short reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Do you not know that the runners in the stadium all run in the race, but only one wins the prize? Run so as to win. Every athlete exercises discipline in every way. They do it to win a perishable crown, but we an imperishable one. Thus I do not run aimlessly. I do not fight as if I were shadowboxing. No, I drive my body and train it for fear that after having preached to others, I myself should be disqualified. Lord, we sing your praises without ceasing. You rule over all things with wonderful order, and temper the cares and burdens of our toil. And by giving us rest and healthy recreation, we refresh our weary minds and bodies. We entreat your kindness that this place and its facilities will contribute to leisure activities that renew the spirit and strengthen mind and body. Grant that all who meet here may find the enrichment of companionship and together offer you the praise that is you do. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. And we'll bless this ground as they prepare to excavate it. Bless this. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Deacon Christopher. Our next item on the agenda, but before I announce that, I do want to recognize a couple other honored guests. We have Chris Shugart, with the president of the East Naples Civic Association. Chris, we're glad to have you here. We also have members of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and believe me, they have helped us over the years, guide us in our efforts in terms of our park system. We have two they're speaking to you tonight, this morning, that we'll introduce in a minute, but I did want to introduce to Becky Lamel. Becky's with us as well, so we appreciate her being here. With that, I'm very excited to introduce you to our junior ROTC color guard from Lely High School. They will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all.
When do the little babies play or sing or something? The little chicks?
Colors, pull. Last, face. Colors, salute.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry. Colors. Right. Face. Forward. March.
If you'd like to be seated, thank you. Thank you again to the Junior ROTC Color Guard, Lely High School. Did a fine job. Yes, please, thank you. Well, again, this is a great day, a great morning. There's a guy that we wanted to bring up to talk. This is a guy that's been in the park system for 30, I'm not going to tell you how many years, but there's several digits behind it to his name. When I first started with parks, one of the first persons I met was this gentleman, and he has been over the years a great source of inspiration to not just myself but our entire park system. I don't think you'll ever find a person that cares more about Collier County parks than this gentleman, and he's done a great job over his career, and a lot of the parks that were built in Collier County he was involved in. And so we thought it very appropriate to bring him up and ask him to say a few words to us for this groundbreaking. So with that, let me introduce you to Mr. Murrow Smith, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Thank you. Thank you, Barry, for those kind words, but it's always a group effort. The staff was great when I worked with them, so it's easy when you got a great bunch of people working for you that, you know, they do the work for you and you just kind of say, oh, great job. But anyway, isn't this a beautiful day to have a groundbreaking on this pool? I mean, it's Southwest Florida, sunny, no snow, no sleet, no cold weather. But anyway, so I've just got a short speech. I'd like to welcome all of our fellow community members here today to celebrate the groundbreaking for the Eagle Lakes Community Pool. Putting a shovel in the dirt today is a happy conclusion for a long planning process that is necessary in order to make the community project like this happen. I think the hardest part of this project is completed. The easy part will be digging the hole, pouring in the cement, and getting the water in the pool. So many people play roles every step of the way, and many more will in the future as this pool gets, I gotta turn my speech here. Is built and then finally serves our community needs. But I would like to personally recognize some people here today. Of course, the Board of County Commissioners for their vision and getting this pool started. County Manager Leo and Nick for their guidance also. Steve Carnell with the Public Service Division for his constant support. I'd like to also thank Facilities Management, and I'm just going to say a person in particular, Margaret Bishop. Yeah. She has been an inspiration in getting this thing done, and she's gone great lengths to get it done, completed. Thank you, Margaret. I'd also like to thank the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for their efforts and also pushing this through. And last of all, the Parks and Recreation Division, Barry and his staff have done a great job in getting this completed also. So, for their special vision and spirit in launching and moving this Eagle Lakes pool forward to completion. Thank you on behalf of our community, Commissioner Fiala. For your ideas and focus were the driving force. Thank you. We now look forward to the community spirit and overall health that is fostered when neighbors swim, splash, race, dive, learn to swim, and just plain enjoy quality time together in this vibrant facility such as this will be. Best wishes to the Eagle Lakes Community Pool, and thank you.
Thank you, Murrow. Our next speaker, it's always interesting when I think of Phil. Before I introduce him, though, there's a couple other people I want to introduce that have been a force with us in this effort. Paula DeGriglio is in the audience, and I wanted to call her out. Paula with the Children's Safe and Healthy Coalition has been instrumental with Dr. Todd Vetter and her staff involvement in helping keep children safe in the water, and we look forward to the partnership with Paul and her group with this pool. One of the things that Commissioner Fiala talked to us about a pool in this neighborhood was the number of kids that didn't know how to swim and how important that was, that we have a place where they could learn and stay safe. So we're pleased with that relationship, and we love the fact that you're here today with us. But our next speaker, you know, there's several types of people in life that you meet, and believe me, I've met quite a few, and we talked to quite a few in our lives, and this gentleman is one of the guys that likes to see things get done and thought through and get done right. And I must say, all of our Parks and Rec Advisory Board members are that type. I don't know if the commission chooses them just for that purpose. I suspect they do.
Absolutely.
Yes, but Phil has been a driving force behind this pool, and he's helped challenge our staff and the process, and he's made us go beyond our comfort level. And it was appropriate for us to ask him to come and talk to you today and tell you his thoughts on our groundbreaking. So with that, let me introduce you to Phil Brome.
I'm supposed to say something now, Well, I don't have a lot to say that would be different than what Murrow has already said. I first want to commend the entire Collier County government staff, and I'm not going to name every one of them, but Commissioner Fiala is the leader of the band as far as I'm concerned, and she has been helped all these years with a tremendous county staff from every perspective: administrative, facilities management, administrative management, and so forth. The Parks and Recreation staff is one of a kind. Facilities is here to get done what needs to be built and fix what is broken. But having said all of that, I also want to add a special thanks to facilities management and Margaret Bishop. She's one of the silent professionals that stands behind many of the edifices you see in Collier County. And I can't say enough for her and her work ethic and her follow through on the details. Thank you from the board. Thank you from the citizens, Margaret. But beyond that, I think a groundbreaking here in this particular park, in this particular community called East Naples, has special significance to all of us that are here. Most of us perhaps live here in the area. Some of us are living in other areas. But you're going to see and have started to see a renovation in this park. I've said it before, but the community center was but one step. The aquatic center is going to be step 2. But there's going to be other steps, at least as long as I'm alive and can kick a few people in the butt. We've got to expand this community center. We've got to renovate this park. There's been talk of maybe having a formal nature center here in partnership with the Conservancy and really capitalize on our birding fame, if you will, behind us. But all of that said, you know what is really important is that all of East Naples is behind this effort and cheering these efforts on. And we are truly a community. And events like this just bring us closer together, and word spreads. And this aquatic center will become a magnet for the young people and the little people and the big people right now that need to exercise. So with that said, I just want to add my sincere thanks to everyone that contributed to this project. The important thing now is, let's don't let any bureaucratic BS get in the way of getting this pool built. And if there's any incentives to put out there, Mr. County, let's put them out here. Thanks a lot.
Where is it? Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Nicely said. Our next speaker, and just to introduce Steve, it's like we had a volunteer recognition last Saturday. Alonka Washburn put it together for our volunteers, and part of what Alonka did was introduce Steve. And it was one of the best introductions I've heard. And Steve, if you didn't know, Steve is the Public Services Administrator. And Alonka talked about all the things that are under Steve: the museums, parks, the libraries, the health department. Help me. Transportation. The list is incredible. And the one thing I know about Steve, and if you know Steve, Steve comes from a large family. And I think this is important, and why he's able to manage his large family at work, because he's used to a lot of different inputs, and how he keeps up with all of us, it's hard to say. Steve does a great job, and Steve has been one of the most supportive persons of this pool, of our effort at Eagle Lakes. And again, we thought it appropriate to bring Steve up and ask him to say a few words. So with that, I introduce you to Mr. Steve Carnell.
All right, well, thank you, Barry. You know, Phil, you made that comment about bureaucratic BS. Were you looking at me when you said that? Okay. Anyway, but again, thank you, Phil, by the way, and thank you, Murrow, as well. Murrow, I think, pulled a first. I've been on umpteen number of groundbreaking events in the past for county projects, and I think this is the first time I've ever come to a groundbreaking and described the project as being done. And you know, you got a point, Murrow, in the sense, if you look around, everybody who's here, there's been a great deal of input and energy that's gone into not only conceiving this pool, but really developing and designing it. How many of you have seen a sketch or drawings, schematics of the pool yet? I mean, I look at that thing and I just go, wow, every day. You know, it's amazing. This is going to be the most incredible community pool we've ever built in Collier County. And I was looking at Commissioner McDaniel. I want to thank you again for being here. You know, Commissioner McDaniel took office about 5 months ago, and one of the things that he has said over and over again is, I'm not just the commissioner of my district, I'm a commissioner for everyone, the entire county. And, you know, this is evidence today that he's here supporting this project, just evidence of that commitment that he has. And Sherry Greco, I want to thank you for being here on behalf of Commissioner Penny Taylor as well, a similar commitment from Commissioner Taylor, which we appreciate. I think all of you should just look around and realize you need to thank each other for getting us to this stage today. And as Barry said, we've had a lot of input from the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, from a lot of our prospective users, and that's all great. It's made for just an awesome facility. And Murrow, I hope you're right. I hope these 12 months of construction just fly seamlessly through.
11 months.
But 12, 365 days, okay? And I read the contract. And for those of you, though, who, if you think that part's easy, it's not. But if it seems easy to you guys, that's because of people like Margaret Bishop and Leandro, who stay awake at night and stay on top of our contractors and keep this thing moving. So I'll just thank Margaret and her team in advance for delivering this project in full a year from now. And we'll be open in time for next summer, summer of 2018. And so thank you again for being part of this, and enjoy your pool.
Okay, and thank you, Steve. And we're almost there to our groundbreaking. Again, we do want to wish our contractor well, DEC contracting group. We have representatives from DEC. Yes, we're glad you got the project. We're excited for you and the work that you're about to do, and thank you for your presence with us today. You know, our next speaker, you always, and I've heard people introduce the speaker over the years, and there's always a common theme. Hardest working, most compassionate, always interested in what her constituents want, always accessible. You know, when I first started for parks, I was, I can't tell you how old I was. But I knew I worked about 50, 55 hours a week, and I thought, well, that's a pretty good week's work. But then I met your commissioner, and the hours that she puts in, and all of you know that. You know the time that she puts into what she does. You see the joy in what she does. I mean, the smile on her face. I don't know that I've ever seen her, well, maybe a time or two where she's not been smiling. But she is always consistently positive and smiling and trying to do what's best for this community. And this pool is certainly an example of that. And it's a pleasure and an honor to introduce your commissioner, Commissioner Donna Fiala.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gary. Before I get into anything at all, I have a few things to say. Commissioner McDaniel, you are so wonderful to be here. We really appreciate it. I know Commissioner Taylor wanted to be here, but she's over with the governor at the other end of town, way out in Railhead doing something else. So she couldn't be in both places, but I know she's here in spirit, and she sent Sherry to be here with us. And we're talking about Sherry as her assistant. That guy standing right next to Sherry, the one with the phone in his hand, that's my assistant. That's Mike Brownlee. You get him all the time when you call or email. And then sitting right here behind, in this little adorable little person, that's Alexandra Scardano. But anyway, Alexandra Scardano. But she was my assistant, and then she got promoted to a wonderful position with Veteran Services, and she's done such a magnificent job for them. So, but she's still, we still remain very close. So she's here to support this as well. Paula, thank you for being here. Paula and Dr. Vetter have vowed that once we have this pool in place, some of these kids have never even been to the Gulf of Mexico because their parents don't have a car to take them there. This is going to be the first water site that they'll be able to go into. So obviously they don't know how to swim. And so they have vowed to make sure that these children learn how to swim and are safe when it comes to being near water. And Osmond, raise your hand. Osmond is the caretaker for this. And see Jose next to him, and then Daniel. These guys keep the park what it is today, and I'm so proud to say they're part of the team. And Kathy Topoleski, raise your hand. Kathy is the, huh? Oh, you're Peg Ruby. The reason I say, oh, you're Peg Ruby, they look exactly like they're twins. And there's nothing even different about them. I'm sorry, Peg. I thought you were Kathy Topoleski. Okay, good. She's also part of the Parks and Rec. As you can see, they do look close. They do look a lot alike. And our Lieutenant, Jay Mulholland, he's here. And Jay, I'm so happy that you come to some of these things because this is your district, and you seem to hover over it as I do because that's so important to keep this district safe and so forth. Phil Brom, he didn't say as much as he could have, but every time I put Phil on this Parks and Rec board because I needed somebody who was tenacious, who would fight for what we needed here in East Naples, because it's sometimes a little bit harder to get over here. And so when things aren't going right, I call Phil. Poor Sharon, she gets all the calls. I call Phil and I say, it's not going right again. But anyway, he'll come in, and from the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board stand, he'll push it in that way. And his Murrow Smith has been his backup. And as you can see, you don't mess around with Murrow. He knows what he's doing. He's been there a long time, and he's big enough to defend what he's saying. So there we go. And I want to just introduce East Naples Civic Association, the president, Chris Schuchart, right here. East Naples Civic, all raise your hands because we've got a few of them over there. Good, and they're supporting this effort as well. this pool started out to be something totally different than what it is now. And I'm here to tell you that the reason it's taken so long is because we wanted to see the kids in this community get a really nice pool. And so it's taken a little bit longer than we thought, but when it ends up, they're going to have something. One of the things they're going to have for Lely High School, Lely, this is especially important to you. They're going to have a lap pool for all the swim team, so that they'll be able to swim. And they've got great swimmers over there, but they have to be bussed someplace. We're going to have a lap pool for the Lely High School kids. And by the way, you guys were terrific. I was so proud of you. Wow. And throwing up your sticks and they didn't even fall on the ground. I really appreciate you being here. And then see the little ones over here, they look like little babies, don't they? They're from the VPK program over here, and they're going to help us throw dirt in the new hole that we're going to dig. So they're here with us as well. I know I shouldn't keep talking about all the people here, but I'm so pleased that everybody is here. What?
It's because you know everyone.
I just want to thank you all for being here. This pool is now going to be something. We're going to have a few little pools there. We're going to have a kiddie pool where the little ones can play and play safely. And they're going to have a little slide. It doesn't go into a pool or anything. It just goes down a chute like, and they end up in some little water at the end. But that'll be fun for the children to play in. Then we're going to have a family pool, which started out to be a lot smaller and pretty shallow. Now it's going to be a family pool. And in the family pool or the big lap pool, they can have exercises. They're going to have adult exercises during the day while everybody else is in school. They're going to be holding classes for that. This is going to be a pool, an aquatic center, I think is what Steve called it, for everyone. It's going to be great for everyone. And I just thank all who have been working with us in order to get this done. So with that, I think I've said enough. I hope I didn't forget everybody that's so wonderful in this audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, I do want to say you are right, and one of the things that the Commissioner looked at and insisted upon, and we've heard this theme throughout our commission, just about the importance of making sure that we're reaching out to our partners. Lely High School is certainly a partner to us. Ellen Kagan, Ellen, the assistant principal at Lely High School. Paul Ruby, also with Lely High School. We're pleased to have them there. We're excited about your swim team, and they're coming over when the pool's done, and we'll be getting some world-class swimmers coming from Eagle Lake, so we're excited about that.
You know what we ought to do when we have the ribbon cutting? They ought to cut it with the swimmers diving into the pool and cutting the ribbon, huh?
We'll get Paul. Just a couple other people I wanted to mention. Just our Parks and Rec staff. If you don't mind standing up, we have Carrie Drew, Scott Holtry. Scott runs our aquatics. Carrie is the regional manager here. Of course, Kathy's sister, Peg.
They look alike.
It's your fault. Oh, boy. Victor, Mr. Shade Latavish in the back, our architect, and did a great job. We've got some colleagues, Mr. Tony Roberto, who's a long-standing Park and Rec person who's working on the project. And thank you all for being here with us and helping us with the celebration. We did bring our official groundbreaking crew out, our members of our VPK, so I think at this point what we'll do is we'll break and we'll go to the shovels. So thank you again for being here with us, and thank you for the celebration of our opening, our groundbreaking. Thank you.
Okay, it's me that's going to start this, baby.
Well, yes, so everybody take your shovels out of the dirt.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been on the wrong end of a shovel for a long time.
And then Commissioner Phil is going to tell everyone when they should
Okay.
throw dirt.
Okay. Put some dirt on your shovel, kids. Okay, and then at the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, throw it. There you go. There you go. Good job.
You're watching Collier Television. bringing government home.